We're making soft and chewy chocolate chip cookies made higher in protein with cottage cheese and protein powder. They're gluten-free and full of flavor with oat and almond flour and less sugar than traditional cookies. You could use any blender or small food processor. I'm going to use the chopper cup that comes with my immersion blender. So I'm just going to add 1/3 cup of cottage cheese and then blend it till smooth. And then I'll just add the cottage cheese to my mixing bowl. Next, we're going to add 2/3 cup of cane sugar. You can also use regular granulated sugar. And then we're adding 1/4 cup of coconut oil. You could also use butter. Then we'll add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and then we're going to mix this until it's well blended. And then we're going to add 1 egg white, and then we'll just mix this until it's incorporated. Now, one of my favorite gluten-free flour combinations for cookies is using some oat flour and almond flour and some tapioca flour. But I've included a table on this recipe on my website that shows several other flours you can use as well as their measurements. So I'm going to add 1 cup of oat flour, 1 cup of almond flour, and 1/4 cup of tapioca flour. And then to add a little more protein as well as some flavor, I'm going to add some vanilla protein powder. Next, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon just for a little more flavor, but you could omit it if you prefer, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And then we'll just mix this together until we have a nice fluffy dough. And then you'll want to add about 1 cup of chocolate chips, and you can use any variety that you like, but I'm only going to add 1/2 of them, and then I'm going to show you how I add the rest in my cookie scoop so they're all on top of the cookie. And then I'll just quickly fold these in on low. Now, to form the cookies, I really like using my medium-sized cookie scoop. And then I just lined my cookie sheet with a sheet of parchment paper because that makes it really easy for getting the cookies on and off the pan. And then I put the rest of the chocolate chips into a bowl. And then I'm just going to take a small handful of about maybe 6 or 7 and drop them inside my cookie scoop. And then I'm going to go in and scoop out some dough and then flip it over onto my cookie sheet. And all my chocolate chips are right on top. And then it's real easy to go in and just kind of gently shape the cookie. And you can even add 1 or 2 more if you think it needs it. And I won't judge. And then I'll just continue the same process to fill the cookie sheet. Well, these look amazing and they are ready to go into a 350-degree oven. And you'll want to set it for about 9 to 11 minutes or until the edges are just barely starting to turn a light golden brown. Well, here are our cookies out of the oven and they look so good. You'll want to put this on your counter and let them cool completely before you enjoy them. I have some I made earlier that are ready to sample. And they taste delicious. I love how the cottage cheese just makes the texture a little bit softer, but then it's perfectly crisp around the edges. And I love that they have just the right amount of sweetness without being overpoweringly sweet. For the full recipe and video, search cottage cheese chocolate chip cookie at gentletummy.com.